Somebody in this room has been standing in the middle of uncertainty, wondering when things will finally shift. You've prayed until your words ran dry. You've waited until your heart grew weary, and you've almost convinced yourself that maybe this is how it will always be. But I came to tell you tonight, God is about to surprise you in the next 20 hours. You're not hearing me. I said in the next 20 hours, God is going to show you that he never left you, that he never forgot about you, that he's been working behind the curtain while you've been crying in the dark. You've been asking for a sign, but what God is about to do is bigger than a sign. It's a move. You see, sometimes God hides his greatest works in the silence. He hides his plans in what feels like delay, because he knows if you saw everything too soon, you wouldn't be ready to receive it. You thought the waiting was punishment, but it was preparation. You thought the silence was rejection, but it was protection. Every time he held something back, he was saving you for something greater. Every no was not a denial. It was a redirection. Every closed door was God saying, that's not the place I'm sending you, because I'm preparing something better with your name written on it. There's somebody here right now who has been carrying disappointment like a weight around your neck. You've been faithful, you've been obedient, but you've been fighting unseen battles in your heart. You get up every morning and keep moving, but deep inside you're asking, God, when is it my turn? When will it be my season? And God sent me to tell you, your turn is not coming, it's already in motion. Heaven has already released what belongs to you. And before the next 20 hours are over, you're going to see the first glimpse of what he's been preparing. When God decides to move, he doesn't check your calendar. He doesn't wait for the world to line up. He simply speaks. And when he speaks, creation moves. When he says it's time, no power in hell, no doubt in your mind, no enemy in your life can stop what he's ordained. Some of you have been through so much lately that you've started expecting pain instead of promise. But let me tell you something. The same God who saw you through your darkest night is the same God who is about to lift you into a brand new dawn. This next 20 hours is not just another day on your clock. It's a divine appointment. Heaven has scheduled a moment for your faith to collide with your future. You may not feel it yet, you may not see it yet, but you're standing right on the edge of a miracle. God is about to flip the script. That rejection is turning into redirection. That failure is turning into power. He's about to shift the atmosphere around you so drastically that even the people who doubted you will have to stand back and say, only God could have done that. You've been underestimated, overlooked, and misunderstood. But that's all right, because God specializes in doing his greatest work with people others forget about. When he blesses you, he's not just going to restore what you lost. He's going to give you double for every tear you cried. Every disappointment was a seed, and now harvest time is here. You thought God was quiet, but he was actually writing your comeback story. So don't you dare give up now. Don't you dare lose your faith in the final hour. You might be standing in your last test before your first testimony. I feel it so strong. Something is shifting. Something is breaking open. Doors are unlocking. Chains are falling, and angels are being dispatched on your behalf. The storm you've been in wasn't meant to drown you. It was meant to train you to walk on water. And in the next 20 hours, you're going to realize why you had to go through what you went through. I dare you right where you are to lift your hands and declare, I'm ready for my surprise. Because when you start speaking it, you start aligning yourself with heaven's timing. God is about to send favor you didn't apply for, opportunities you didn't expect, peace you can't explain, and joy that overflows. You're not just waiting on a blessing. You're standing in the doorway of one. So get ready. Get ready for doors to open that have been locked for years. Get ready for the phone call that changes everything. Get ready for the healing that medicine couldn't bring. Get ready for the restoration that logic can't explain. Before the next 20 hours are over, the same God who turned water into wine, who raised Lazarus from the dead, who made a way through the Red Sea, that same God is about to surprise you. And when he does, it's going to be sudden, it's going to be supernatural, and it's going to be undeniable. Your midnight is about to turn into a miracle. Your pain is about to turn into praise. Your waiting is about to turn into winning. And by this time tomorrow, you'll be able to say, look what the Lord has done. So don't hold back your worship. Don't silence your faith, because God is about to surprise you in the next 20 hours. You thought the delay meant God had forgotten you. You thought the silence meant your prayers had disappeared into the air. You thought because nothing changed, nothing was happening. But let me tell you, while you were waiting, God was working. While you were crying, heaven was constructing the very miracle you've been praying for. Every tear you cried was watering the soil of your next blessing. Every sleepless night was setting the scene for your sunrise. God never stopped moving. He was just moving in ways you couldn't see. You see, sometimes God hides his hand until the right moment, because he's not just trying to give you what you want, he's trying to build you into who you're called to be. That's why you couldn't rush the process. That's why the door didn't open when you knocked. He was preparing the door for the weight of your destiny. He was preparing you so when he gives you the blessing, it won't break you. Some of you have been through storms not because you were weak, but because you were strong enough to survive them. You've been in the fire because God knew the fire couldn't destroy you. It could only purify you. You thought that job rejection was a setback, but it was actually a setup for something greater. You thought that relationship ending was the end of your story, but God said, no, that was just a chapter. You thought losing that opportunity was a curse, but it was actually protection, because if he had let you get what you wanted too early, it would have crushed you under the weight of unprepared blessing. Sometimes God says, not yet, not because he's cruel, but because he's kind. He knows that every great blessing requires a great foundation. And while you were worrying about what was taking so long, he was strengthening your roots so you could carry the fruit. Oh, I feel this so strong. Some of you have been hidden on purpose. God didn't forget you. He covered you. He didn't abandon you. He shielded you. While the world overlooked you, heaven was watching you. You've been in a season where it felt like nobody saw your effort, nobody understood your sacrifice, nobody noticed your consistency, but God did. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every step of obedience has been recorded in heaven's timeline, and now the appointed time is about to strike. The reason it took so long is because what God is about to release is not ordinary. You're not waiting for just any blessing. You're waiting for a tailor-made miracle. It's being customized to fit your name, your calling, your destiny. That's why other people's answers couldn't fit your situation. That's why you couldn't copy their path. You've been in a divine delay because your promise had to mature before it could manifest. And now the time is right. The heavens are aligning, the doors are unlocking, and the season you've been praying for is about to burst open before your eyes. Sometimes when God is silent, it's because he's speaking to everything around you. You don't hear him, but your future does. Your opportunities hear him. Your divine connections hear him. The environment is shifting to make room for what he's about to do in your life. That's why some things started falling apart suddenly. It wasn't chaos. It was construction. God was tearing down what couldn't go with you so he could build what you actually need. You lost people, but you gained clarity. You lost plans, but you gained purpose. You lost comfort, but you gained calling. And now in this very moment, the same God who orchestrated every detail of your journey is standing ready to surprise you. You're about to walk into blessings that you didn't even pray for. Doors you didn't knock on will swing open. Emails you didn't expect will arrive. Conversations you didn't plan will lead to divine opportunities. The very thing that looked like disappointment is about to turn into destiny. The very thing that broke your heart is about to birth your next season of joy. You've been asking, Lord, how long? And God is answering, not long now. The next 20 hours are going to prove that his timing is perfect. The delay was not denial, it was divine development. The silence was not rejection, it was revelation. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. God was setting you apart for something that no one else could carry. You've been faithful in the shadows, and now God is about to shine his spotlight on your story. So I dare you to lift your hands and declare, I'm ready, Lord. I'm ready for the surprise you've prepared for me. Because something is about to shift. You can feel it in your spirit. The pressure is about to produce something powerful. Every sleepless night, every unanswered question, every lonely moment was leading you to this one divine intersection. Heaven is about to release the answer you've been waiting for. And when God surprises you, it's not going to be small. It's not going to be ordinary. It's going to overflow. It's going to overwhelm. It's going to make people who counted you out wonder how you did it. And you'll be able to stand there, tears in your eyes, smile on your face, and say, it wasn't me. It was God. Because he's not just restoring what you lost. He's multiplying what you gave up. So don't stop believing now. Don't let the waiting make you weary. Every promise God made to you still stands. Every word he spoke is still alive. The same God who started this story is about to finish it in power. You thought it was over, but it's not over. It's only just beginning. You're not running out of time. Time is running toward you. And before these next 20 hours end, you'll know that every second of waiting was worth it, because God is about to surprise you in a way that changes everything. When God gets ready to move, he doesn't send out a warning notice. He doesn't whisper to your schedule, and he doesn't check if you're ready for it. He just shows up. When God shows up, he interrupts everything that looked impossible. He doesn't need a vote to favor you. When he steps in, the laws of nature bend, time rearranges, and circumstances bow down to his will. That's why you can't measure what God is about to do by what you see right now. Because what you see is temporary, but what God has spoken is eternal. He moves suddenly in ways that make you say, I didn't see that coming. But that's how he likes to work. That's how he reminds the world that he's still God. Some of you have been thinking that because nothing has moved, God isn't moving. But you've got to understand, God is the only one who can be silent and still be working. He's the only one who can seem absent but be arranging everything behind the scenes. You might be stuck between what he promised and what you can see, but don't mistake the silence for stillness. Heaven is not quiet because nothing is happening. Heaven is quiet because everything is being positioned. When God starts moving in your favor, he starts rearranging the invisible first. Before the Red Sea split, the wind had already begun to blow. Before Lazarus walked out, Jesus had already called his name in eternity. Before the breakthrough shows up in your life, God has already whispered your victory in heaven. When God decides to surprise you, he doesn't check your bank account, he doesn't consult your qualifications, and he doesn't need approval from anyone who doubted you. He steps into your story like a director stepping onto a set, and suddenly everything changes. He knows how to turn ordinary moments into divine appointments. One simple encounter, one unexpected phone call, one moment of favor can rewrite years of frustration. You might have been crying over the same problem for months, but when God says now, time catches up with his word. The years that were stolen begin to return, multiplied, better, stronger. You've been praying for a breakthrough. But what God is about to do isn't just a breakthrough, it's a divine interruption. It's a supernatural shift that will make you say, only God could have done this. You might wake up tomorrow and see everything differently. The same environment that once felt heavy will suddenly feel light. The same people who once ignored you will start to notice the grace on your life. The same door that stayed locked for years will swing open effortlessly. Why? Because when God shows up, he doesn't knock, he breaks through. You've got to understand something. The God you serve is not limited by time or distance. He's not restricted by what others said couldn't happen. He's not intimidated by what you lost. He's not worried about how long it's been. When he says it's time, every obstacle has to move. Every weapon that was formed against you becomes powerless. Every limitation that was placed on your life gets lifted. The same God who parted the sea for Moses, who shut the mouths of lions for Daniel, who brought Joseph out of the pit and into the palace, that same God hasn't changed. He still specializes in sudden, miraculous turnarounds. Maybe you've been living under the weight of disappointment for so long that you forgot what hope feels like. Maybe you've been fighting battles nobody sees and thinking, this is just how my life is now. But God told me to tell you, this is not the end. It's just the turning point. You're not running out of miracles. Miracles are running toward you. The reason IT's been so heavy is because heaven has been getting ready to deliver something big. Every attack that tried to stop you was confirmation that something powerful was on its way. The enemy doesn't fight empty-handed people. He only fights those carrying promise. So if you've been under pressure, it's because you're pregnant with purpose. If you've been feeling stretched, it's because expansion is on the way. God is not going to send a small change. He's going to send a total transformation. He's not going to adjust a few things. He's about to overhaul everything that once held you back. You're going to look back and realize that every disappointment was a setup. Every closed door was redirection. Every loss was fertilizer for your future growth. When God shows up, he doesn't just fix problems. He establishes promises. He doesn't just open one door. He creates hallways. He doesn't just give you what you lost. He gives you more than enough so that you can bless others. You're not coming out of this empty-handed. You're coming out wiser, stronger, and with evidence that God was in it the whole time. People who walked away will have to watch you rise. People who said you'd never make it will have to witness your promotion. So don't be surprised when everything shifts overnight. Don't be shocked when what took years to build comes together in hours. Don't question when doors start flying open. That's how God operates. suddenly, swiftly, sovereignly. The same God who can turn water into wine can turn your situation into a testimony in less than a day. You won't even have time to adjust before his favor finds you. And when it happens, remember this moment. Remember how you prayed. Remember how you waited. Remember how you cried. Because the God who's about to surprise you will make sure you know it was him. You won't have to force it. You won't have to beg for it. It will come naturally because it's supernatural. So lift your hands, lift your faith, lift your expectation, because the next 20 hours could change everything. Heaven is already in motion. Angels are already moving. And the word that God spoke over your life is about to manifest. When he moves, it's not partial, it's complete. When he speaks, it's not maybe, it's guaranteed. Get ready, not for a small blessing, but for a divine surprise so great that you'll have to say, this could only be God. Some of you are standing right now on the edge of a miracle, and you don't even realize it. You think you're standing in confusion, but you're standing in position. You think you've been overlooked, but heaven has had its eye on you the entire time. You've been faithful when it was hard. You've been consistent when nobody said thank you. You've kept showing up even when your strength was gone. You've prayed in silence. You've served in secret. And you've carried your cross when nobody saw the weight of it, but God did. And now heaven is whispering your name. It's your time to step into the space that's been prepared for you long before you even knew it existed. You see, there are moments in life when it feels like nothing is happening, but in the spiritual realm, everything is moving. It's like standing at the ocean's edge. The tide goes out before it rushes back in with power. You've been in the going out season where it felt like everything was being taken away, but God was making room for overflow. You've been losing people, losing opportunities, losing strength, but God was clearing space for something greater. The same soil that feels empty today will soon bloom with the fruit of what you've been believing for. Because when God says it's your time, there is no force on earth or in hell that can stop what he's about to release. You've been praying, Lord, do something. NG. And heaven has been saying, I already am. You just can't see it yet. But by the time you realize what's happening, it will be too late for the enemy to interfere. Some of you have been waiting for years, and now you're standing right at the threshold of what you prayed for. The things that used to make you cry are about to make you shout for joy. The doors that were shut in your face are about to open so wide that you won't even have to knock. And when that happens, you'll understand that every delay had divine direction hidden inside it. God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't waste tears. He doesn't waste seasons of silence. Everything you went through, every betrayal, every disappointment, every closed door was preparation for the platform you're about to stand on. It hurt, but it was holy. It felt like rejection, but it was redirection. You were hidden because he was building you in private before revealing you in public. The roots grow underground long before the tree bears fruit. You've been growing where no one could see you, but that's about to change. God is about to lift the curtain. And when he does, the very people who ignored you will see what he's been doing all along. There's a divine shift coming, and you can feel it. That restlessness you've been sensing isn't anxiety, it's anticipation. It's your spirit picking up on the fact that something big is on its way. The heavens are aligning. The timing is coming together. The pieces are starting to make sense. You're not crazy for believing. You're not foolish for hoping. You're prophetic for expecting. Because what's been spoken over your life is about to manifest before your eyes. The next 20 hours are not just hours. They are holy ground. God is counting down to your release. The tears you cried were not wasted. They were watering your harvest. The prayers you prayed were not ignored. They were being processed. The waiting you endured was not for nothing. It was training your spirit to handle what's next. God wasn't ignoring you. He was protecting you from premature exposure. You weren't forgotten. You were being refined. And now that refining is turning into revealing. You're about to step into the moment where everything begins to make sense. When God gets ready to bless you, he doesn't ask for a vote. He doesn't consult your past. He doesn't need permission from those who misunderstood you. He simply declares it and it becomes. That's why this next move is going to shock people. They won't be able to explain it. They won't understand how you went from overlooked to overblessed, from waiting to winning, from broken to overflowing. But that's what God does. He takes what was meant to destroy you and uses it to define you. He turns the very pain that tried to bury you into the platform that lifts you. There's something powerful about a believer who refuses to quit. You didn't give up when it got hard. You didn't let go when it got heavy. You didn't curse God when the blessing was delayed. That faith you held on to when everything looked hopeless, that's the faith heaven is about to reward. You didn't know it, but while you were standing still, the heavens were moving in your favor. The same God who parted the Red Sea is parting the obstacles in your path right now. The same God who sent manna in the wilderness is about to rain provision over your life. So lift up your head, straighten your shoulders, take a deep breath. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to declare. You're not standing in defeat. You're standing in destiny. You're not waiting for permission to win. You're walking into the promise that was written for you before the foundation of the world. And it won't be by your power or your strategy or your effort. It will be by his spirit. Because when God moves, he doesn't just bring a blessing, he brings transformation. The blessing that's coming won't just change your situation. It will change your story. It will silence the voices that said you'd never make it. It will heal the wounds you never thought would close. It will restore what was taken, multiply what was left, and reveal the glory that was always within you. You're not stepping into just another season. You're stepping into fulfillment. What you've been praying for is about to collide with what heaven has been preparing. And when it happens, you won't have to prove it was God. It will be undeniable. The favor will be so visible that people will say there's something different about them. You won't need to explain it. You'll just walk in it. You carried peace where there used to be pain. You'll carry joy where there used to be sorrow. You'll carry confidence where there used to be confusion. The shift will be so sudden that even you will stand there amazed, saying, how did everything change so fast? That's the kind of God you serve, a God who specializes in sudden breakthroughs, divine surprises, and holy turnarounds. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to chase it. You just have to stay in position and believe that it's already on its way. The next 20 hours could be the moment that changes everything. Heaven has your name in motion. Favor has been dispatched. Angels have been assigned. God has declared it. So hold your head high. Keep your spirit expectant and declare with power, this is my moment. God is about to surprise me and nothing can stop it. Because when heaven decides it's your time, there isn't a demon, delay, or doubt that can stand in your way. You're on the edge of the extraordinary, and the next step you take will lead you straight into the miracle you've been waiting for. I'm stepping into the bold prophetic rhythm you hear from T.D. Jakes, because this moment calls for thunder, not a whisper. Listen, I need you to open your spirit and listen with everything inside you. The reason your heart has been pounding and your soul has been restless is not to punish you, it's to position you. When God is about to do something, he stirs the inside of you first. He unsettles the nest so the bird will finally fly. You thought you were just tired. You were being trained. You thought you were just discouraged. You were being refined. You thought it was over. But no, child of God, it's about to get glorious. There are seasons when the Lord puts a hedge of silence around you so the noise of the world won't drown out what he's whispering in your spirit. Some of you have been shouting into emptiness and wondering why no echo comes back. That silence was not absence. It was intentional. Heaven was clearing a space so that when favor arrived, it would have room to land. While you were doubting, God was working. While you were wondering, God was wandering through the corridors of your life, arranging meetings, opening doors, aligning helpers you didn't even know were on their way. You were not forgotten. You were being held in holy preparation. I know what it feels like to carry disappointment on your shoulders, as if it were a cloak you can't take off. I know what it feels like to be the last one chosen, the quiet one at the table, the one people say won't make it. But listen, the God who writes stories of redemption does not forget a single footnote. Your footnote is about to become a headline. The very things that tried to define you, lack, limitation, rejection, are about to be rewritten into your testimony. This is the divine edit. Watch how he takes the pages of your past and rearranges them into a masterpiece. You have been faithful in the small things, and faithfulness in small things is the currency heaven uses to fund big miracles. You showed up when no one else showed up. You loved when no one else loved. God keeps a ledger of those moments. He doesn't lose track. The one who made the stars remembers the names of those who stayed true. When it was easier to walk away, your consistency is about to become your reward. The same God who closed that door is about to open the right one with such favor that you'll have to check your knees to see if you're standing or if you're floating. Expect the unexpected. How many times have you prayed for provision and thought it would look like someone handing you a check? God's surprises are cleverer than our imaginations. He brings help in forms we didn't bargain for. A stranger with a word, a child's simple prayer, a late-night message that rewrites a contract, a detour that becomes destiny. When God moves, he doesn't come in one size. He comes creatively. So when the shift comes, don't limit how you receive it. Recognize that miracles arrive in different packages. The blessing might be wrapped in a no that redirected you to a yes. It might start as a closed door that leads you to a highway you never knew existed. Now, enough of the pity party. Get up out of your seat of sorrow and stand in your seat of expectation. Faith is not passive. Faith is posture. It's the position you take with your hands lifted and your voice declared. Say it out loud. I'm not missing my miracle. My miracle is finding me. When you start to declare it, you begin to align with heaven's plan. Words have weight. Proclamation gathers atmosphere. Speak what God has already said over you, and watch the earth rearrange to accommodate heaven's decree. Let me tell you something about timing. God's timing is not late. It's perfect. There's a difference between instant gratification and perfect alignment. If God had answered you sooner, you might have missed the people, the lessons, and the resilience you needed to carry what he planned to give you. Don't despise the process. Respect the preparation. The trials were not waste. They were the scaffolding on which your destiny will stand. The bruises you carry will become the bridges others will cross because of what you survived. Your story will light the way for someone kneeling where you once knelt. I want you to see with spiritual eyes. Angels are not idle. They are being dispatched. Situations that seemed immovable are now being unpinned. Contracts are being rewritten in favor of your future. Conversations you thought were ordinary are being transformed into gateways to destiny. The timing that once seemed unjust is now aligning like clockwork. The next 20 hours are pregnant with possibility. Breathe, believe, and be bold. Move as if the miracle is already in motion, because when you walk in courage, you walk into invitation. Finally, when God surprises you, don't hurry to explain it away. Let your heart be full of wonder. Let gratitude be the first response. When the breakthrough comes, the first thing you should do is worship, because a grateful heart keeps the blessing from slipping away. Testimony is not just about saying what happened. It's about giving God the glory so that the river of blessing continues to flow. Thank Him before the miracle, thank Him in the miracle, and thank Him after the miracle. Gratitude is the magnet that holds favor in place. So stand firm, keep your faith, elevate your expectations. God is not playing games with your life. He's positioning you for prominence. The winds of change are not threatening. They are carrying you. The Lord is about to surprise you in a way that will make every mourner convert into a dancer, every fear into a fuel, and very limit into a launch pad. Hold on to that promise with a tenacious grip. When the clock strikes and the breakthrough comes, and it will come, you will know deep down in your bones that He was working while you waited. You've been through seasons that almost broke you, storms that made you question if you'd ever see the sun again. You've had nights where you lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if God still remembered your name. You've been strong for everybody else while secretly praying for just one sign that your strength wasn't in vain. But let me tell you something right now. God saw every tear, every sacrifice, every time you wanted to give up but didn't. You thought He was silent, but He was working. You thought He was still, but He was stirring things in motion that your human eyes couldn't see. Everything that felt delayed, denied, or destroyed was actually part of divine construction. The foundation was being poured, the framework was being built, and now the roof of your miracle is about to be placed. This is not a random moment in your life. This is a divine appointment. The timing you thought was late was right on schedule. The prayers you thought went unanswered are about to echo back with abundance. You thought God had forgotten, but He was saving the best for last. You are closer to your breakthrough than you've ever been, but you must not faint now. This is the final stretch before the miracle manifests. It's the moment right before the dawn when the sky is still dark, but the light is already pushing its way through. You can't see it yet, but you can feel it. That restlessness in your spirit isn't fear. It's faith trying to burst out of the soil. Some of you have been walking through valleys so long that you've started calling the valley home. You've gotten used to the waiting, to the struggle, to the delay. But God didn't create you to camp in the valley. He created you to climb mountains. You've been in a holding pattern, circling the same mountain, the same pain, the same problem. But the command from heaven tonight is clear. Break camp and move forward. It's time to come out of the place of waiting and step into the place of walking. The promise isn't coming to you, you're about to walk into it. And when you take that step, Everything that was once unstable will begin to steady beneath your feet. There's a sound in the spirit, a rumbling like thunder in the distance. It's the sound of walls coming down, chains breaking.